A macro is a sequence of program commands that have been recorded and saved and can be executed with a single command. Outlook has its own macro capabilities. More germane to the topic of security, however, are the macros in programs such as Microsoft Word and Excel. Such macros are part of the document file and as such are included when the file is sent as an email attachment. However, you can identify files that contain macros because the file name extension changes from docs to docm for a Word document. For example, a malicious macro can be set to execute automatically when the file is opened and can potentially wreak havoc on your system and data files. Such viruses are called macroviruses. Antivirus programs catch most macroviruses, and the precaution of not opening attachments from unknown sources is another layer of protection. The final layer of protection against macroviruses is the macro security level in your programs. Macro security applies to all Office programs, and it is set in the Trust Center. The Trust Center is an Office component, not specifically part of Outlook or any program. On Outlook, you access the Trust Center by clicking File, then clicking Options to open the Outlook Options dialog box. Then, in the list on the left, click Trust Center. Finally, click the Trust Center Settings button, and click Macro Settings in the list at the left to display the macro security settings. You can see that the options mention signed macros. Digital signing is a way that the person who creates a macro can sign it so that the recipient can be assured that it comes from a trusted source. You'll learn more about digital signatures later in this chapter. You can choose from 4 levels of macro security, described here from the strictest to the least strict. Disable all macros without notification. No macros, whether signed or not, are ever run. Notifications for digitally signed macros, all other macros disabled. For a signed macro, the program displays a notification message and asks you whether it should be run. Unsigned macros are never run. This is the default macro security level. Notifications for all macros. The program displays a notification message for any macro, signed or unsigned, and asks you whether it should be run. Enable all macros. All macros are run without a notification message. For reasons that are probably obvious, this level is not recommended. The default level of macro security for all Office programs is recommended. You can always set a lower level temporarily if you want to run some unsigned macros from a trusted source.